Okay, so imagine this. A world where the planet changing actually profoundly impacts our minds.
Yeah, that's a really big question, isn't it?
How do we adapt? How do we heal? And these, well, they aren't just abstract questions anymore.
Not at all. They're really at the core of a critical international gathering that's coming up.
Right, the third Global Mental Wellbeing and Substance Use Conference, or GMWS 2025.
That's the one. And this deep dive is focused right on its central theme: heat, health, and habits, shaping the future in a changing climate.
It's such a vital intersection. It really feels like it affects all of us.
It absolutely does.
So our mission today is to really unpack this. We want to explore that critical link, climate change and mental health.
And understand who's driving this crucial conversation.
Yeah, what are they aiming to achieve, and why are these discussions just so critical right now, especially, well, as the world keeps changing?
Exactly. You're essentially going to get a shortcut to understanding the key players, the core ideas, and importantly, how these global conversations hope to bring about, real world change.
Okay, so that urgency you mentioned, that direct link between climate change and our mental health, that really brings us to the why now for GMWS 2025, doesn't it?
It really does. The conference's core focus is precisely that urgent connection, the intersection of mental health, climate change, and community resilience.
It's not just about physical health anymore, then?
No, not at all. It's deeply tied to our mental states, our emotional well-being, and also our societal habits, the things we do collectively.
That's a profound link. And when you say deeply tied to our mental states and societal habits, what makes this conference's approach, well, different, maybe groundbreaking?
Well, I think it's the holistic ambition behind it. The overarching goal of GMWS 2025 is to tackle mental health and substance misuse, specifically through this lens of climate change and societal habits. And they have very clear, actionable objectives laid out. Things like promoting awareness of the mental health impacts of climate change.
Makes sense.
Fostering collaboration, and this is key, between governments, academia, and community organizations. Getting everyone talking.
Right.
And, critically, empowering youth and marginalized voices.
That empowerment piece feels really significant. How are they making sure those specific perspectives, especially from newcomers and BIPOC communities, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, how are they really amplified?
It seems absolutely central to their approach.
Yeah.
That's maybe what sets it apart. It's not just a top-down conversation,
Mm-hmm.
It's about weaving in diverse lived experiences. And crucially, moving beyond just talk to action.
Actionable recommendations.
Exactly. For policy, for service delivery. The aim is for this conference to be a critical incubator for real, tangible, on-the-ground solutions, not just another talking shop.
So what does this actually mean for you, the listener? I mean, whether you're involved in policy or community work, or maybe just trying to navigate this changing world.
Understanding these objectives really matters, right? This conference isn't just theoretical. It's aiming to shape actual responses to a challenge that, frankly, touches every part of our lives.
Okay, with such big goals, you have to wonder, who is behind an initiative like this? Who's driving it?
Yes. That brings us to the organizing force, which is quite remarkable. New African Canadians, or NAC.
NAC, okay, tell us about them.
So NAC is a federally incorporated nonprofit. They were established back in 2020.
Relatively new then, formally.
Formally, yes, but their roots go deeper. Their dedication is to supporting immigrants, refugees, and newcomers of African descent right across Canada.
And what stands out about them?
I think it's their dynamic, community-driven nature. They have regional hubs: PEI, Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, Nova Scotia. They're really embedded in the communities they serve.
That local connection sounds key.
It is. And their approach is incredibly holistic. That's a big part of their effectiveness, I think. Beyond just organizing this global conference, NAC provides a whole range of services.
Like what?
Well, mental health support, obviously, but also settlement services, social integration programs, advocacy. For example, they offer specific trauma counseling for newcomers and refugees.
Wow.
And youth empowerment workshops that actually focus on climate anxiety. So you see that direct link again.
That is really comprehensive. It shows a deep commitment to practical, direct impact. Can you give us a bit more on NAC's journey? How did they get from, say, a small group to coordinating a global event like this?
Yeah, it's quite an inspiring story, actually. NAC really started organically as a small social group back in 2017, just connecting African newcomers.
Just people connecting.
Exactly. But by 2018, things started gaining momentum. They formed a volunteer advisory group, launched a New Canadians 2018 WhatsApp group, using tech to connect communities across provinces.
Smart.
Very. And this kind of powerful community-driven advocacy, especially in this climate mental health space, it led pretty quickly to their formal incorporation in December 2020.
So that formal step in 2020 was built on a few years of groundwork.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the growth since then has been rapid. 2021 saw them opening regional offices across Canada. By 2022, they were establishing collaborative partnerships, designing strategic plans for mental health and settlement services. They were really scaling up.
And this conference, GMWS 2025, it's not their first one.
No, not at all. That's another key point. This is actually the third iteration.
Third. Wow.
Yeah. And IC successfully hosted the first one in 2023. The theme was Rest, Recovery, and Resilience During and Beyond Pandemics. Very timely.
Right.
And the second in 2024 was titled Embracing Wellness, Balancing Minds. So this history, it really underscores their deep commitment and, frankly, their growing expertise in this critical area.
It certainly shows they can pull off complex events and are serious about these themes, and it's all driven by dedicated people.
Absolutely. A core leadership team and volunteers, people like Henry Luyumbia, the Chief Visionary Officer, Mark Lubowa as coordinator, and George Willabo, who's CEO of Global Events Canada, helping with logistics, I imagine. They're the engine behind it.
Okay, so for someone listening who might be thinking about attending or just curious about how these important ideas are going to unfold, what can they actually expect? What will it look like at GMWS 2025?
It sounds incredibly dynamic, actually. So first off, the dates. July 31st to August 3rd, 2025.
Okay, next summer.
Exactly. At the University of Prince Edward Island, UPEI, in Charlottetown. And the list of confirmed speakers and participants, it's really impressive. It highlights a real diversity of voices from many different sectors.
When you say diverse voices, what kind of range are we talking about? What perspectives?
Well, you've got government dignitaries. His Honor Dr. Wasim Salamoon, the Lieutenant Governor of PEI, for instance. And H.E. Alan Kajik, who's the ambassador of Uganda to Canada, he's delivering the keynote.
An international perspective right at the top.
Definitely. Plus Canadian government folks like MP Sean Casey, PEI's Minister of Health Mark McLean, and Charlottetown's Mayor Philip Brown.
So policymakers are engaged.
They are. But it's not just politicians. You've got leading health and wellness experts. People like Rebecca Jesse Keeman from Mental Health and Addictions at Health PEI, Nancy Anderson from the PEI Alliance for Mental Wellbeing.
Practitioners, researchers.
Exactly. Psychotherapist Leza Matheson, clinical psychologist Susan Nalwoga, Dr. Marva Sweeney-Nixon from UPEI Research. A real blend.
That blend sounds fantastic, policy and practice together.
Precisely. And it broadens out further. Community and global leaders, too. Like Martin Root, you might know him from Chicken Soup for the Soul at Work.
Oh, interesting connection.
Yeah. And Barb McDowell, the spiritual life coach. Plus, crucially, bringing in that global perspective, again, Douglas Kowekwa from Mind Life Limited in Uganda, talking about global connections.
And someone addressing climate anxiety directly.
Yes, Matilda Nakamima, a youth empowerment and wellness advocate, also from Uganda. She'll be speaking specifically on climate anxiety.
And you mentioned youth voices earlier. Are they represented among the speakers too?
Absolutely, and that's so important. You'll hear from Julia Lai, who's a 17-year-old high school student. She founded Learning Lights Africa.
17. That's amazing.
Isn't it? And Lucy Lai, an MSc student in environmental science, presenting on climate erosion. So you have this multi-generational approach, ensuring future leaders are right there in the conversation.
That's fantastic. What about the format? Is it just talks?
No, it seems very dynamic.
Yeah.
There are powerful keynote addresses, of course, like climate, crisis and community, a mental health call to action, but also multiple panels covering topics like mental health in a warming world, and importantly, a community voices panel focusing on lived experience and innovations.
Getting those grassroots perspectives in.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, a fireside chat on leadership in times of crisis and very practical interactive dialogues.
Practical how?
Focusing on tools people can use, like healing circles. You know, often rooted in indigenous traditions, providing that safe space for collective processing.
Yes, very powerful.
Alongside things like ACT acceptance and commitment therapy.
Right, ACT.
Discussions on nutrition, even soil health, connecting everything back to the environment. Plus, dedicated youth reflection sessions.
It sounds really engaging, more than just sitting and listening.
Definitely. And they're weaving in cultural elements too. A cultural showcase, an affiliated Emancipation Day event at Rochford Square nearby.
Connecting to the local community and history.
Exactly. And even after the main conference, there are optional things like guided meditation, stress relief sessions, community tours of heritage sites, nature walks. It's a whole experience.
So who is this all for? Who's the intended audience for this packed program?
Well, they're expecting over 60 delegates in person, but also 1,000 online, so a significant virtual reach.
A hybrid event then?
Yes. And the attendees will include mental health professionals, naturally, but also policymakers, students, researchers, BIPOC leaders, community advocates, really anyone invested in these issues from Canada and beyond. That mix is vital for rich discussions.
It truly sounds like a global and comprehensive gathering. Okay, let's shift to the impact, the ripple effect. What are the concrete outcomes they're hoping for? And what's the future vision for GMWS? You mentioned it's action-oriented, not just talk.
Precisely. The focus is absolutely on tangible results that can drive change.
Like what, specifically?
Well, concrete policy recommendations. Things that can actually inform how governments tackle mental health within their broader climate change strategies.
Okay, that's practical.
New partnerships and collaborations, bringing together these diverse local and global stakeholders to work together moving forward.
Building networks.
Exactly. Greater public awareness of climate-related mental health issues, just getting the word out more broadly. And as we touched on, sharing those practical healing tools like ACT and healing circles directly with attendees, empowering them to take practices back to their own communities.
So tangible skills and policy ideas. What about the longer view? The way forward and Vision 2030 you mentioned.
Oh, yeah, they're already planning ahead, which is impressive. GMWS 2026 is already scheduled August 6th to 9th, 2026.
They've already got the dates.
They do. And a specific focus: migration, displacement, and resilience in climate-affected communities. So tackling another critical angle.
That shows real commitment to the long haul.
It does. And the bigger picture, the Vision 2030, is ambitious. The long-term goal is for GMWS to become a truly global hub for these mental health dialogues.
A hub, meaning?
Meaning a place that influences international policies, helps create sustainable, long-term, community-driven wellness models. It shows how a conference series can aim to be part of a much larger ongoing movement for real systemic change.
Addressing these incredibly complex global challenges needs that kind of sustained effort, doesn't it?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
Long-term planning is crucial.
Wow. What an insightful journey this deep dive has been. We've covered a lot of ground.
We really have.
From, understanding that critical, almost visceral link between climate change and mental health,
to appreciating the really groundbreaking, community-focused work of New African Canadians, NAC.
and seeing how a global conference like GMWS can actually foster tangible, actionable change. It's not just abstract.
Absolutely. Understanding these kinds of proactive efforts, it really helps you, the listener, become better informed about these crucial global trends and, importantly, the solutions being developed.
So let's leave our listeners with a final thought. Considering these innovative, community-focused approaches we've discussed, the ones highlighted at GMWS 2025.
How might fostering these community-driven wellness models truly change the landscape of global mental health, especially in our rapidly changing world? And maybe what role could you play in supporting initiatives like these?